How are you?
Good. Excited.
Okay, so I've been invited along by Vince, good friend of mine, to talk a little bit about some of my experience in entrepreneurship and healthcare. Actually, it's entrepreneurship in general. I think the stuff that I'm going to share is sort of applicable to everything. So it applies to all industries, all services, all products. Entrepreneurship is just the very act of starting something, doing something, finishing something. You guys hear me okay? Do I need the mic?
Probably not.
Okay. So I'll just try to speak up. Applies to all industries, all services, all products. But I thought I would start with some statistics, because if you guys are thinking about taking the entrepreneur path, you might be crazy, okay? So let's start with some of these stats. They're crazy. There's 28 million businesses in America. 4% of those will reach $1 million in revenue. Just 4%. Of those, 1 in 10.4 of all companies will ever make it to 10 million in revenue. Only 17,000 of 28 million, or 0.0006, will ever get to 50 million. So what you're doing is starting something. If you take the entrepreneur path, that's very unlikely that you'll succeed. And when people say, I want to be a billionaire, start smaller. Say, I want to be 100,000-aire. I want to be a 20,000-aire. Don't start with unreachable goals, because you want to start with something that's graspable, okay? So how many failures? If I took this room and said, hey, who wants to start a business? That means this first year, all you guys crash and burn. You guys are my saviors. But in year 4, that gentleman right there is the only one that's going to be here at year 4, okay? Year 5, well, 3% of 4% is not a big number. We're all probably going to crash and burn. So if you can get it to the 5th year, then it gets a little bit better. But you see what I'm saying here is, if you're going the entrepreneur path, it's a high rate of failure. So if you want to start this, let's just ask the question, is this the path for you? How do you know? What are some things that people say? I want to be an entrepreneur because. What is your why? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it freedom? Is it power? A lot of these are the things I hear when I go to startup events, and they're asking entrepreneurs, and they're asking for angel funding. They're saying, yeah, this is what I want. Wrong. When you start a company, you have no money. You have no fame, you have no freedom, you have no power. You work for everybody else. Everybody's your boss. No one wants what you're selling. Everything you do sucks. Everything you hear is no. So these are the kinds of things that you hear on a regular, daily basis. So welcome to entrepreneurship. When I first started my first company, it was in 2004, and it was a company that did quite well. And I read a book. I'm a huge advocate of self-help books. I don't know if this is true or not, but I read the story of bamboo. Have you guys ever heard the story of bamboo? Okay, great. It's a great story. So bamboo, you plant a seed and you water it and you see nothing. You cultivate the soil, you water it some more, you go back the next day, you see nothing. You continue to do this. A month later, what happens? Nothing. What happens 6 months later? Nothing. A year later, nothing. Your friends are starting to call you up. What are you doing with that bamboo? I don't see anything. What are you doing with your company? How come it's not growing? Year 2, no growth. Year 3, no growth. Year 4, no growth. What happens in year 5? All of the growth was in the roots. In year 5, bamboo grows up to 18 inches a day. It's the fastest growing plant on the planet. And not only does it grow fast, but it grows so fast that you can hear it. What do you think your friends say in year 5? Oh, you're so lucky. Oh, look at that nice house. Oh, look at those nice cars. Oh, look at all that nice stuff. But they didn't see the 4 years of growth that happened underneath the surface that nobody could see. So that's the kind of stuff that you're looking at with entrepreneurship. is all of the growth happens underneath the surface where nobody can see it. So are you still interested? If you are, follow me. So what are the traits of a good entrepreneur? Okay. Are you stubborn? Who here is stubborn? But who here is Nietzsche stubborn? All of us are stubborn. All of us are a pain in the ass. But who here? Many are stubborn in pursuit of the path they have chosen. Few are stubborn in pursuit of the goal. That's a great distinction. Are you stubborn enough to grab and push and fight and push and fight and get up and fight some more? If that's the kind of stubborn you are, then entrepreneurship might be a really good fit for you. Are you unreasonable? I love this quote. I have this quote on my desk because the unreasonable man adapts himself to the world. The reasonable man persists in adapting the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. What is that important for? Every time I build another community, I build homes, I build condos, townhomes around the Denver metro area. That's the company that I've started most recently. We're doing great. But how many times have you seen a construction crane across the street and be like, I hate that guy? Everybody here hates the construction guy. Well, I own a construction company too. So you have to be willing to be unreasonable because everybody hates what you're selling. Nobody wants what you're doing because it gets in their way. It's inconvenient. So you have to be the unreasonable man. That's how you progress. So I love what Calvin Coolidge said. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. So you got to be annoyingly persistent. I don't know if you can see my passion about this stuff, but I'm passionate about it because I've lived it. Everything I've done has been about this stuff. So if you want to get started and you're still with me and you want to be one of the people that started on the path of entrepreneurship, what attracts money, people, and customers? Here are the questions that you're going to answer. So step one, vision. What is your vision? What is your compelling vision for the future? What is the demand? That's one of the things that people forget about is the demand. You have a great idea, great. Who's going to buy it? Team. You got to be humble and realize that everybody around you should be your superior in some way. That's a very difficult, heady thing to think about because you got to get people that are smarter than you on your team. Money. You need 10 times more than you think you do. Doesn't matter what your budget is, you're going to break it. Execution, can you get it done? If you can do these things, this might be a good path for you. So step one, does anybody want what you're selling? I've been through so many startup talks where people put together these great ideas and they say, yes, I've got the best idea. It's a love seat toilet. We could take a shit together and sit on the toilet. This is literally the kind of stuff I see at these startup talks where people are asking for your money and your time, but nobody wants what they're selling. And they say, I'm going to create this great website. I'm going to create this great model. Everybody's going to love it. Oh, cool. How many customers do you have? Well, none, but I got to get all this money in order to build this thing to get this stuff. Who's going to buy your product? Start smaller. There's a lot of crappy ideas out there. This is a 10-second look on the internet. Yeah. So who is your team? Vince was kind enough to join my team some time ago. He's a guy that I look to who's smarter than me. I always joke about, I know how, I pretend to run a company. He actually knows how to run it. So when I ran into struggles, over and over, people problems, over and over, same problems, I said, how the hell do I fix this? I keep running the same problems over and over again. So getting people on your team that are smarter than you got to enlist people that are good, bright minds. How much cash do you need? This is a huge one because a lot of companies wash out because they don't have enough cash. And whatever it is that you think you've budgeted, you should budget more. And from what to what by when? If you're coming to me with your idea and you're saying, hey, Steve, I need 100 grand to finance my idea. Tell me from what to what by when and who's going to do it with you. That's the question you should come prepared to every meeting when you're taking the entrepreneurship path. So when you go out there, if you're starting a company in healthcare, you're selling lemonade, it doesn't matter what you're selling. You got to know where you're going, what your vision is, who your team is, and you got to get to the place where you can demonstrate convincingly that whatever you're selling, you have an endpoint. And those milestones are very important. I think somebody else mentioned milestones. It's from what to what by when. I'm going to have this many sales by this date, because it tells an investor that you've thought about these things. And so I may not say yes to $100,000, but I may say yes to $10,000. I may say yes to $100,000, but not $1 million. And the reason I'll say yes to these things is because you have a convincing plan that tells me where you're going to get to with my money and what that's going to look like. So think through these things before you take it. And that's how you'll become the exception to the rule, because the vast majority of people in the startup world fail. So if you're going to take the entrepreneurship, just be prepared for a lot of hard work, effort, and above everything else, persistence and determination will be how you get through it. Thank you.